and we are going to be talking about the barriers that prevent you from hitting your goal. We all know that hitting a goal takes commitment and a lot of planning to hit a goal. The more challenging it is, the more you learn, the more you grow. But there are several main obstacles to hitting a goal. Well, there are four in fact. Lack of ownership, lack of prioritizing the goal, lack of motivation, and lack of a strategy. The first thing is lack of ownership. If you got to choose your goal, to set your goal, you are very lucky. Most of us never get to set our own goals. Someone, your manager or a director or someone comes and tells you what your goal is. And when you feel lack of ownership, it can be very difficult to work towards that goal and put your heart into it, because you feel like maybe you worry you won't be able to hit it because it feels too hard. Maybe you don't have full control over the process. So instead of controlling the things that you can control, you just kind of sit there and feel, well, I can't hit this goal because I don't have control of the process. Maybe you feel the goal isn't smart. Maybe you feel that the reward or the incentive to hit the goal isn't big enough. And sometimes those goals just feel hard, and so you just want to stay in your comfort zone. But I encourage you, you need to own the things that you can in the process. And when you create a strategy or an action plan to hit a goal, you focus on the things that you can control, not the things that you can't control. So that is the first step that stops you from hitting a goal, is lack of ownership. And you just need to step up and own the things that are within your control. The second step that prevents you or makes it difficult to hit a goal is not prioritizing that goal. You know what your goals are, but if you think back to yesterday, how much time did you actually spend working on tasks that will get you closer to your goal? If it was a lot of time, congratulations, but many times the things that get us to our goal are unpleasant, they're challenging, or they're just really boring. If you know that you have to schedule a certain number of jobs to be able to hit your goal, or close out jobs, or make a certain number of phone calls, when something else comes up that's more interesting or in your comfort zone, you're always tempted to do that rather than prioritize the things that get you to your goal. So how could you prioritize those critical tasks? Very easy. Make them your number one priority or one of your top 3 tasks, and then get them done early in the morning. Schedule them in the first 90 minutes of your day, or during your power hour, or schedule them for a 50-minute block later in the day. So obstacle number 1 is lack of ownership of the goal. Obstacle number 2 is not prioritizing the tasks that are going to get you closer to your goal. And number 3 is lack of motivation. We talked about your why, or your compelling reason to hit a goal, in the first workshop. And usually your compelling reason falls into one of two categories. You want to feel something. You want to feel pride. You want to feel accomplished. You want to feel disciplined. Or you want to get something. You want to get more money, you want to get a promotion, or you want to get to keep your job, which is always a big one. So your motivation to hit a goal falls into 2 categories: feeling something or getting something. If you are entry level, if you're at the beginning of your career, or if you are spending way more than you earn, you're going to be motivated to get something, get more money, get a promotion. But as you work up in your career, feelings become more important. You want to feel more accomplished. You want to feel like you're contributing. You want to feel the satisfaction of training someone and making a difference. And once you find out the why, or your compelling reason to hit your goal, hitting the goal and keeping motivated becomes a lot easier. But even if you have a very compelling reason, there are going to be days where you just don't feel like working. And that's where number 4 comes in. Step number 4, creating a strategy. Because if you don't feel motivated, all you do is take the next step on your strategy. Because if you don't have a strategy, when something else comes up, when you're feeling lack of motivation, then you're going to do something else. You're not going to prioritize your goal. So have you ever created a strategy? Some of you will have done, but for those of you who feel like you haven't created a strategy, I want to tell you you have. If you've ever fixed a customer's problem, if you've ever helped a coworker out, you've created a strategy. You may not have written it down, but anytime you identify a problem, think through the solution, and then implement the solution, you have created a strategy. Writing it down is just simply the next step. And for those of you who have created action plans, have created strategies, you know that when you set that goal, you create that strategy, you're normally very motivated. But after a few days, or after a week, or when you hit your first obstacle, that motivation fades. But when you have all the steps written down, all you have to do is just take the next step. And that is why you need a strategy. And without a strategy, it's going to be very difficult to hit your goal. Could you start off? Could you just take the first step that you think is going to get you to your goal? Sure. But when you hit that first roadblock or that first obstacle, or you lose motivation, then you're going to choose something easier or something that's in your comfort zone. If you are working with other people, if you have your strategy written down, you just share it with them. It's much, much easier to share a strategy that's written down. And even better, if you can create your strategy with co-workers, with team members, and you assign responsibilities and you decide together who's going to do what and when, it creates teamwork and accountability. Because anything that is worth having takes time, it takes hard work, it takes commitment and some sacrifice. And when you can solve the 4 obstacles that are going to stop you hitting your goal, then you are much more likely to be able to achieve a goal. So to summarize, lack of ownership, not prioritizing your goal, lack of motivation, and lack of a strategy are the 4 barriers to hitting a goal. And when you create that strategy, it takes care of lack of ownership, because your strategy, you are going to be writing down the things that you can control. You will be prioritizing your goal, because that's what your strategy is going to do. It's going to prioritize the tasks that get you to your goal. And then on those days when you don't feel motivated, it doesn't matter, because all you need to do is just take the next step on your strategy.